The current U.S. inflation, the latest annual inflation rate for the United States is about 2% through the 12 months that ended in July 2014, as published by the U.S. government on August 19th of this year. The next inflation update is scheduled for release on September 17th, 2014, around 8:30 a.m. This upcoming data update will offer the inflation rate over the 12 months ending up until August 2014. The U.S. inflation grew at a slower pace in June as consumers felt some reprieve in the cost of American products and services. Yet, the sting of pain at the pump worsened. Overall, price increase in May were spread wider and stronger across most items struck by the U.S. government, whereas gains in June were smaller outside of gasoline. The U.S. consumer prices rose about 0.3% in June, about in line with expectation and down from the 0.4% jump in May, which was the quickest stride since February 2013. The latest figure was reported by the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics, so known as BLS, in its monthly report of the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. This CPI measured changes in the prices the U.S. consumers pay for a select group of goods and services, easily leading gains. Gas prices soared 3.3% last month compared to the milder 0.7% pickup in the prior month. In contrast to the broad-based increase last month, the June seasonally adjusted increase in the all items index was primarily driven by the gasoline index. This was stated in the report from the Labor Department, and it said it rose 3.3% and accounted for 2/3 of all items increase. So, Americans have been hit with the higher grocery bills all year, but the 0.1% advance in June was about tame compared to the jump of the 0.5% in May, which was the biggest gain since August 2011. Food prices also started the year with about 0.1% increase in January and then rose about 0.4% for 3 months straight, including and excluding energy and food, so-called core consumer prices that rose about 0.1% in June. A month earlier, they raised at 0.3% for the fastest place since August 2011. Core advancing items, including shelter, up 0.2% compared to 0.3% previously. Rent up about 0.3% to match the prior month. Number 3, medical care commodities up 0.7% compared to the 0.5% previously. Number 4, airfares up 0.4% compared to 5.8% previously, which was the biggest increase since July of 1999. And number 5, clothing was up 0.5% compared to the 0.3% previously. Lastly, household furnishing up 0.2% compared to the prior decline of 0.2%. And tobacco up was about 0.1% compared to the 0.2% previously. In terms of declining items, these include number 1, lodging away from home, down 1.9% compared to last increase of 0.2%. The new vehicles down about 2.3% versus the prior gain of 0.2%. Used cars and trucks down 0.4% compared to the prior decline of 0.1%. Dairy and related products were down 0.4% compared to the prior increase of 0.6%, and so on. So all of this, finally, the cost of medical care services was flat last month after rising about 0.3% in May. U.S. inflation increased 2.1% over the last 12 months, matching the previous month, which was the quickest annual rate of inflation since October of 2012. Past inflation rates reported by the BLS for 2014 include annual gains of 2% in April, 1.1% in March, 1.1% in February, and 1.6% in January. The core U.S. inflation rose 1.9% in the year-over-year period ended June, which is slightly lower than 2% increase in May. Core 12-month inflation rates reported earlier in 2014 include the April increase of 1.8%, March rise of 1.7%, and the match and 1.6% gains in February and January. The core reading is the benchmark inflation figure monitored by the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, as it helps in deciding where to set the key interest rate. The annual latest increase is a tad lower than the Fed's inflation rate target of 2% overall.